Hi, this is Phil Shapiro. I'm over here in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I have the good fortune of talking with Genise White, who is over there in Northern Virginia. And I know her via the Women in Film and Video, a very interesting organization that allows men to join and has almost 1,000 members here in the Washington, D.C. area, all different kinds of people involved in communication, um, all the way from uh, television news to documentary production to theater to makeup to animation. So, Genise, I was hearing from you a very interesting story about the 48-hour film project. Can you
Yes.
tell us, how did you get involved?
Okay. Well, I did one or two in Baltimore before I moved to Northern Virginia. And I basically saw an ad on Facebook looking for people that want to brush up on their acting skills and were welcome to join the project. And that was, I left Baltimore in 2008. So the 2008, 2009.
Oh, that's interesting. And then to me, it sounds like these 48-hour film projects, they're very hectic, right?
Oh, very, very
It's it's
hectic
it's
because you have
exhilarating, right?
exhilarating as well as maddening uh,
Maddening. So, so
because you have,
walk us through your experience.
oh,
What
okay.
what
Uh,
happened?
okay. I started with, the name just went out of my head.
That's
Uh,
all right. So it's Saturday and Sunday, but there's a Friday component, is there?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Let's start on Friday night, and we will all get together. It's the biggest gathering because it's like 40, 50, 60 people, and we all have um, a plot, which could be comedy or action or horror or documentary. But there's a plot, there's a name like Phil Shapiro. Um, there's a prop like a cup of coffee or a diet soda or something like that. Um, there's usually some kind of phrase that has to be said, and that could vary from each competition, and usually a color. And those five elements have to be in the film, and you get to do it in like 7 minutes. So it starts Friday, and everybody brainstorms about it, come up with a title, come up with the plot. Then the other things just flow as it goes by. But you have to make sure you have all five things in the film, or you're going to be disqualified. Because not only are the peers going to be looking at it, but the people that are judging, they're going to be looking at it too. In fact, they're going to be looking at it first to make sure that all five or elements are in the film.
And then like Saturday morning, you get together, right?
Yes,
And
yes. Like 7 o'clock Saturday morning, and you go from 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock Saturday morning up until 8 or 9 o'clock Saturday night. So it's an all day affair. And, everybody goes in there kind of tired and but pumped. And everybody leaves very tired and and sometimes still kind of pumped. But it's an all day thing. And people
and
that
it's
have to
improv, right? This is like improv, right?
yes, yes.
You
Yeah,
have to.
the highest quality improv because I have done a little improv in Baltimore before, and you have to use your wits to go through the whole thing. And I have done 48 film projects.
Really? That's
Started
awesome.
out with the boom mic, that really heavy,
Yeah.
heavy, heavy, heavy. mic that has to be around the person's face, but not to the point where they can see it on the camera. And it's very heavy. It's not the lightest thing around either. And I've done that. I've done script supervisor, which you go in there and you make sure that they say everything on the script or very close to it. And if they forget something, you have to be able to whisper what the line is, so the microphones won't hear it.
So interesting. And then how big is the team of people?
Well, it varies, but what you really need to have besides the actors, you need to have a couple camera people, definitely somebody very good in audio, a boom operator, which is, that big um, microphone, and a director and a producer. Then, after you get those particular jobs, then you start looking for the actors. And it's usually, depending on the production, like about four or five actors.
Now, does the video editor, do they work all night Saturday night, or do
Oh
they,
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
and they kind of working while you're doing things? The deadline is Sunday.
It's Sunday at 5, I
Oh,
think.
really? Oh,
Yeah. So they don't even give you the whole Sunday to do
they
it.
don't give you the whole Sunday. Oh,
No, it's like and you have to get it in there at 5. You can't be 5:01 or
right.
5:02 or whatever.
Yeah,
It'll be disqualified because
yeah.
that's considered late.
So it is an interesting exercise in group creativity.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and time management. Because like I said, if you walk in there at 5:01, you're disqualified. So you have to be able to have a crew that is sensitive enough to meet the deadlines.
And I
Oh,
bet you there's lots of little compromises where different people want to do different things. And it's almost like you're in a band, a musical band.
yes.
You have to listen to the others and then sometimes do something different than what you want to do.
Yes.
So yeah, interesting. Now,
Yeah.
tell me more about Women in Film and Video. You have been a member. Well, also let's say you've done a lot of radio work at Fairfax
Yes.
Public Access. More than 10 years, right? You've had a show. Is
Yes.
that right?
Yes.
Tell us about
Uh,
your show over there.
okay. I love it for one thing. And the TV portion of it or the video portion of it, I get to do this week on Wednesday.
Okay.
But the show is called World Reggae Party, and it's all about reggae. And um, reggae has about 13 genres, and it's not just Bob Marley and his brood, even though Bob Marley is still quite the key contributor, even though he's been dead since what, in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still a contributor, and his 12 children, and God, right now there's a couple grandchildren that are just starting to come up and be discovered. Most notable is Skip Marley and Elijah Marley. So Skip is the son of Damian Marley, and Elijah, I think, is Stephen's son, but don't quote me on that.
That's
And
fine.
Elijah's only 8 years old, so
Gee, wow.
so they're starting them really early. But
And you've interviewed a bunch of people on your show, right? Some
yes,
notables,
yes,
some notables.
yes. Marley wise, I got Sharon, which is the oldest daughter, and she looks just like Rita. Like Rita just basically spit her out or something. She looks so much like Rita. And her daughter, Denisha Pendergast, who is not a singer, and she tells you that right. I'm like, I'm not a singer, but she made a documentary, I believe in 2012, I think, or maybe 2013, called Rasta, uh, um, Rasta a Life, or the Rasta Life, or something similar to that. And she's made a documentary now about her mother, Sharon. So she wants to be in film. So when we
Neat.
met each other, we had a long talking about what we plan to do in film and everything. And all of them are very um, gracious and nice and easy to talk to and everything.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Now, so you've done work over with Fairfax Public Access, and then I also heard that you did some work with WPFW.
Yes.
That's in DC, right? Yeah,
It's
public radio.
Yes, it's in DC. And I was volunteering to do a lot of work, but through them, I got to meet Nikki Giovanni, which is the big poet.
Wow.
And there's also a Marley connection with WPFW because Tony Carr does the reggae show on Sunday nights there. And through him, I had met a couple more Marleys, as well as Junior Marvin, who used to play with Bob Marley. And through I Rhythm, which is a local DC group, I met and became really good friends with Carl Malcolm, that used to live in DC, but now he lives near the Pentagon, I believe.
Now you were also telling me how did you first became interested in radio?
Well, my father, who was an electrician, um, had taken me to a local Harrisburg, Pennsylvania radio station because he was going to do some electronic work on the station, and he thought I might be fun to bring me along. This is way before bring your daughter to work day like they do now.
Right.
So he brought me there, and I wasn't allowed to touch anything or be interviewed or anything because this was like when I was 8, which was a long time ago. So it wasn't like it is now, where you can bring a kid in and they can touch everything and be in front of the camera or behind the camera. Back then it was very strict about what a
But you
kid
you
could
got
do.
inspired, you got intrigued.
Oh, I got really intrigued because well, first, um, I got intrigued because they had a measure of the sound waves
Yeah.
coming from the person's voice, and I was really fascinated with that. In fact, I'm still fascinated with that. Um, and I got to meet, the general manager and some of the DJs, and which they were called board operators back then. They weren't called DJs like they are now. And just went all over the station and got to meet a lot of people. And from there, I was thinking, oh, this is cool. I can really get into this,
Right.
so to speak. So
What an interesting story. So, how many years have you been a member of Women in Film and Video?
about 2.
About 2 years.
Yes.
And it's pretty interesting that the quantity and quality of talent in that organization is pretty gigantic because
Yes.
we have filmmakers, many of them have won awards for their films, and they freely share their time and their talent with others. And then there's a lot of book authors. I've been surprised at how many book authors there are in that organization. And there's you yourself are working on a book of poetry. Is that right?
Yes, I
Oh,
am. I love poetry. That's my second love. I'm trying to get a book published about 25 poems, which is
neat.
not a big poetry book, but I have seen books that have like less than 25,
Right.
and they go out, and I've been taking a lot of different courses with FPA about publishing, and with meetup.com, because there's a couple, Robin Sullivan, her husband does like a true crime type of series. So she's always on the meetup.com, giving classes about how to get published and how to self-publish, as well as the traditional, where the company picks you and publishes it, and you get the dividends and the royalties from the publisher. Whereas self-publishing, that's what it means. It's self. You do the writing, you do the somebody else produces the book, but you have to do all the marketing and
Publicity, right.
interviews
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
for it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Um, let's talk a little bit about Melissa, who is the executive director. She's quite amazing. Before I met her in person, I had such a favorable impression of her from her emails.
Yes.
She's very supportive and she's hardworking. You've met her in person?
Yes, I met her
Okay.
in person. Um, and I've known her for like maybe 4 or 5 years. So even before I became a member of Women in Film and TV, I really adore her. She is so nice and cordial and supportive, and professional, and she's always giving me tips about how to break through, even though I have like over 10 years experience in radio at least, and how to look professional, how to sound professional. So yes, Melissa is definitely a treat.
I showed up to one networking event and I was intrigued to watch her because she asked the question, what uh, what kind of person do you want to meet? Like, who do you need as a creative partner? So she was doing very interesting matchmaking right there at this social event so that she understood. For example, I like to write stories. I'm a
Mhm.
storyteller, but I could really benefit from having a friendship with an animator. You know?
Yes,
And
yes,
so, and the animator needs maybe a friendship with a storyteller.
yes.
And so, and same thing with maybe a dancer and a choreographer or whatever. Uh, there's something larger that can happen when two people are connected or three people
Yes.
that have complementary talents. So when I showed up to the networking event, I was very impressed that her function at this event was to connect complementary talents, which I think we all have a responsibility of doing within the
Yes.
organization for our own benefit and for the benefit of the organization. So I heard at this event that their goal currently is to um, have more than 1,000 members. So they currently have 900 and something members.
Oh,
So
okay.
uh, reaching the 1,000 member mark, it'd be a big landmark
Yes, it would.
because you definitely don't want to get 1,000 women and their allies upset if you're outside the organization. You want to treat everybody within the organization well.
Yes,
But that,
yes,
there's a um, lot of differently talented people. Um, I've been surprised there's many very talented actors within the organization. That I've met some
yes,
of them,
yes.
and some of the people have such great devotion to the craft. I met Kate Subata, who made the film Dancing Joy, and she is just so committed to filmmaking, where it took her 10 years to make one film, more than 10 years. It was almost 15, I think. She went around the world with her film Dancing Joy. So very, very devoted to the craft
Yes.
of producing high quality communications that inspire and elevate the human condition. That's pretty remarkable. So, and I've talked with Debbie Mack, who's over in Columbia, Maryland.
I know Debbie.
You know Debbie?
Yes.
She's quite something. New York Times bestselling
Yes.
author.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's on top of that, she's very down to earth, very easy to like. And so, well, I'm hoping that others within what Women in Film and Video will also engage in conversations like this one today, so that
Yes, that'd be great.
More people get to know each other and find out about their interests and find ways of moving ourselves forwards individually, but then also moving the organization forward. You know,
Yes.
Our fate is connected to one another, so we should all be hoping for the benefit of the organization.
Yes.
That's kind of my point of view. So I'm talking with Genise White here today. What a delight.
Thank you.
Let's talk again sometime in the future.
Oh, okay. Do we have time? I could show you my
Yes, we've got time. What would you like to show?
My DC Reggae Award. Which,
oh yes.
Okay.
Please.
1 second.
Take your time. DC Reggae Award. I'm recording this, by the way, using Zoom. Zoom has a very easy to use recording feature. It's totally free. I'm using the free version of Zoom. Oh, let's see this. Yes, we've got time. Wow.
Yeah.
This is a nice, happy surprise. Look at that. Whoa.
Okay. Yes.
Whoa.
So what it says, because
yes. What does it say?
Okay, can't get it that.
To Genise White. Yes. Yep.
All right. It's DC Annual Reggae Music Awards, or DC ARMA, presented to Genise White. The Dennis Brown Award. Dennis Brown was a reggae singer that died. I think he had pneumonia or TB or something, some kind of lung type of inflammation, and he had died. And I was given the Dennis Brown Award in 2014.
Wow, that is significant.
10 years
wow.
Next year.
Yes.
So, and see how beautiful it is?
It is. It's a gorgeous award.
Yes. So
somebody out there noticed your devotion to the craft.
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody noticed it. Yeah.
So
now, by the way, does your show come every week or once a month?
Every week.
Every week. That's amazing.
Every week. Wow. It's only a repeat if I'm out of town or not feeling well or something. There's always a revolving tape.
Right. Got it.
That if you're not there, they'll put that on. Well, that actually comes on automatically. So if I'm there, I have to shut that off before 7 o'clock, but it comes on automatically. So I'm always there if I'm not, even if I'm not there, I'm always there, if you know what I mean. So
yes. Yeah.
Yes. So
but I think there are some people who don't realize that the public access stations sometimes have radio as well as video. So over in Arlington, they have their own radio station, right?
Yes.
The Arlington Independent Media, they do video, but they also do radio. And their radio, I think, is relatively recent, maybe 10 years old.
Okay.
I used to be a member of AIM when I lived in Northern Virginia, way back in the late 90s.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I had been to AIM, or Arlington Independent Media, when I was the vice president of the Radio Guild. I had bought the radio people from Radio Fairfax to Arlington Independent Media.
Yeah.
So just to look at our competition in some ways. And get people interested in that, because actually there's a somewhat of a partnership with AIM. So it's not really our competitor,
Right.
not like other stations, because we do have, like I'm competing with Mr. Carr
Right. Yes.
with reggae music. So, but we don't seem to have that same type of competition with AIM.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, until next time, thanks so much, Denise, for giving your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Phil.
Sure. Bye.
Oh, bye-bye.